Okay, so here's how we do tassels. I have never done a video before, so we will see how this goes. I'm going to adjust my screen so that you can see my hands. Okay, first we have our we cut a 10-inch piece of yarn. Then we have our 7-inch piece of yarn. I'll show you what to do with those in just one second. They're going to be used in constructing our loops and ties for our tassel. So to make the loop to hang the tassel from, get a big marker, big wide one, or other rod that you can use to make your loop. You could just make an overhand knot, with the thread or the yarn you're using, like so, but then it would be hard to control the exact length of your loop. So we tie it around, right over, let's see, how's that go? Left over right, then right over left to make a square knot. And now we have our loop. Now if you want, you can use 2 pieces of yarn. If you need a heavy-duty loop, that would probably be a good thing to do. It just depends on what your tassel is for, how big your beads are that you want to string on the loop of your tassel, and so on. Now, to make the body of the tassel, I use these little field book notes as a frame. Now, I was shown at one time to cut 20 pieces of a certain length of yarn, so you have exactly 20 to 30 pieces, depending on how fat you want your tassel. Cut those many pieces of yarn for your body of your tassel and lay them out flat, which is very good because it's just a good way to control your yarn. But I don't quite have the patience for that always, so I kind of make my own tassel body this way. Get some strung out here. Loop, loop, loop. Try and use an even tension, of course. Loop, loop, 20 to 30 times. So that was 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. Okay, now you see you got your 2 loose ends. Try to make your loose ends on the same end of the project. And here's my this is going to be kind of a skinny tassel because this is skinny thread. It's beautiful thread. It's what I believe Martha Berry and Karen Berry Klasnick used for their projects. At least they told me about this. It's from Knit Picks, and it's called Palette, P-A-L-L-E-T-E. So let me back up. I did that without even thinking. Take your loose end of your loop that you've made, slide it under your body, underneath, until the actual knot and loop you made are right in the center. And why don't you just tie it some other way? Well, I do it this way so I can see exactly where my knot's going. Left over right and right over left. If you want it tight, make sure it's tight. And you can do another one if you want. Left over right and right over left. Okay, now you take and slide your scissors underneath here. Sometimes I use this book because sometimes it's easier. I'll go right up in the middle of the book. I might send you this book. They're pretty nifty. It's what I use to keep a log of my projects. Okay, so now we've got loose ends and loose ends. Take and flip them over. Ta-da! Now your knotted ends are inside the tassel. You can lay it down over the top of the 7-inch piece. Now smooth them down if you can. Try and make them lay smoothly. Now, left over right. Let me back that up. Let me show you, and you probably already know this. If you want your first left over right to stay in place, do a surgeon's knot. Once over and once over. Yeah. That, when you pull that snug, get it right here, when you pull that snug, it will stay right where you've put it. Oh no, I got my ends uneven, you say. Well, okay, there we go. Kind of smooth that out. Now, right over left and right over left. And voila. Now, if you want to kind of smooth out that little head of the tassel, you can do that with a pencil or other tool you have, the blunt end of a crochet hook maybe. And if you want to leave your ties outside the tassel, that is fine. Or if you want to be fancy and pull them down inside, you can use a hemostat or a crochet hook and pull it through. Now, look at all these uneven ends. Okay, we will go. Sometimes I use the cutting wheel. For this purposes, I will just cut the ends off even. Let's see. If you're doing like several tassels in a row, sometimes it's nice to lay out your project flat and all your tassels in the row. Use your cutting board and your wheel. You can get them all the exact same length at one time. So that is your tassel, Tana. And you can adorn this part with beads, or I'm sure you can think of a lot of ways, a lot of things you can do with this tassel. You can make, use something short, skinnier and make shorter, wider and make longer. But that is how you do tassels. And thank you a lot for asking me to show you that. Have a good day.